Hey everyone, my name is Danilo Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. It's the Australian Open. It is upon us, and we are talking today about the qualifiers that have made it through. They're now into the main draw, the men's and the women's, and now we've got a full draw to look at, apart from one name who's obviously missing off there at the moment. But yeah, it will be a full draw as of tomorrow.
Who's that, Ben? Who's missing?
I don't know. It's just some guy. There's some it might be a French wild card, Novak Djokovic, I think his name is. But anyway, we're going to be bringing you some qualifiers we think that you should take a look at in the first round, and maybe even further and deeper into the tournament if they progress further. So it's going to be good, this one.
Yeah, this is like a podcast we've done now for the last few slams, and it's one I always look forward to. It has been a bit overshadowed since the whole Djokovic debacle, what's happening right now. But I'm excited we're doing it right now. And we've both picked 3 qualifiers from the men's, 3 qualifiers for the women's.
Yep.
Ben's not really seen mine. I've obviously seen his because I did a PowerPoint. But it's going to be good to sort of dissect it and see what you guys think as well. Just before we get into it, obviously today, Aslan Karatsev winning his first title of the year, beating Andy Murray. I sent you a tweet, Ben. I don't know if you want to bring it up, maybe. But this is to do with the bracket. So we have had our first, another winner of the brackets, and it's one I did very well at, but it's the first person who's actually come forward and tweeted us. So if you ever win a bracket and you tweet us, we'll always give you a shout out on the podcast. So here's your shout out.
Yeah, let me just share that. I've got it here. 1 second. Here we go. So it says here, this is from Cappuccino Pavlova, quite a nice name as well, saying, I won the TNNS app Sydney bracket. Woo! Let's ignore the other tournament scores, shall we? Game to love, first of many, I hope. There you go. So look, as you can see there, ranks number 1 in the Sydney ATP one. Well done to you.
Yeah.
Round of applause.
Congrats on the win. And remember, for the Australian Open one, we will be doing a women's draw later on. You can win prizes, so make sure to enter. Because if you can win that one, what's the name again?
What's that?
Go up.
Well, Cappuccino Pavlova.
Cappuccino Pavlova. If you can win that one, then you'll be getting a prize for it. So good luck. And I think I come third, so I'm pretty happy in that one as well. I called, obviously, Karatsev Murray final with Karatsev winning, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, you had a good one. If you manage to pick the final, you're always in good stead for maybe winning it. But unfortunately, pipped to the post on this one. They must have had 1 or 2 results earlier on in the tournament. Must have gone their way.
Yeah.
So, right. Should we get stuck into this? We're going to be looking at which first. It's a JG special PowerPoint edition. This one. I'll
bring it up. So here we go. So Australian Open 2022 qualifiers to watch by Game to Love. And we're going to be starting off with the men's. We're going to be counting down from 3, 2, 1. So let's get started.
So.
And no, it didn't start like that. Here we go. Men's first. And here, number 3, you can see I've gone with Taro Daniel and Ben's gone with
Yuri Lehechka, the Czech player that we spoke to Thomas Burdick about when we met him, and I think he sees big things for the young Czech players on the tour. I'm excited by Lehechka. I think he's got a very tough first round draw. This is the only thing with Lehechka. He did play somebody very tough in his last round of qualifying, and this is one of my reasons for his selection. Dmitry Popko is somebody who you have to really take seriously. He does, when he turns up and plays, he is really tough and he does sometimes do well on the challenger level. He beat Max Purcell and Michael Moe, 3 really good players, I think, through the qualifying. And to do that, obviously went to 3 in the last one, but I think that puts him in good stead. He's got a little winning run, but he will be playing Grigor Dimitrov in the first round. And just depends which Dimitrov turns up. Because if Dimitrov he slips on a banana skin every once in a while, and maybe Lehechka could be the banana skin.
Yeah, I think Dimitrov's going to be a bit disappointed, if I'm honest. He could be heading home. I like that pick. It's a really good one. I was contemplating putting him in, but he was kind of fourth or fifth for me. Didn't quite make my top three. On my side, Tara Daniel, as you can see, he's had 3 results up until now, playing 3 Italians, and he's won all 3 in straight sets. He's beat Moroni, Broady, and Caruso, and they've been very convincing victories. Looking at his first match, Barrios Vera, I think that's another winnable one. He's going to be a favourite for it. And yeah, Tara Daniel, someone I've spoke to as well a few times. He's someone hopefully we'll be getting on the podcast soon. And I want to just put his name in the limelight a little bit because he's a really quality tennis player. And if he can pull it together on this sort of surface, which I think is his best surface, then he could make a little run. So that's going to be my number 3 pick.
Very nice. I think it's a good one. Tara Daniel, who's been going sort of deep in some of those. I think he only just lost to Tommy Paul the other day in the other tournament, didn't he? So did well. A couple of good wins there.
Yeah, let's move on. So number 2.
Speaks for
us through this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it speaks for itself. I think I have him in nearly every qualifiers to watch. It is Thomas Mahak, also from the Czech Republic as well. Another player we spoke to Thomas Burdick about. I'm putting all the Czechs in. Anybody that we speak to. I'm big on this guy. You know, we've had him on the podcast when it was actually in Australia last year in the quarantine in the hotel. But he was actually playing in the final round of qualifying. Somebody else we've had on the podcast, Jesper de Jong, 2 great players. And I said to you, whoever goes through that, they're being in my qualifiers to watch. But Thomas Mahak, he's currently on a great win streak. He just won a challenger just before this, and that was in Traralgon, and that was against Bjorn Flatangelo in the final. Beat Kukushkin, Akila Santalan, Mayotte, and he beat Jesper de Jong again in that tournament. Before that, he actually beat Dan Evans in the Davis Cup and Richard Gasquet. So he's on a bit of a win streak right now, Thomas Mahak. He's got, 10 matches unbeaten, and he's coming into this tournament in hot form, and he's going to be up against Juan Manuel Cerundolo, predominantly a clay courter in the first round. I fancy his chances to go into the second.
I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be a really good matchup. 2 young guys. And I don't know. I'm not sure which way I'll be supporting, but probably Mahak as well. Obviously, we've had him on the podcast, and I think it's a sensible pick from you. We've got Gene in the chat just talking about my previous pick, saying he remembers when Daniel beat Djokovic at Indian Wells in 2018. And you've got to remember, that's something I obviously forgot to include. He can pull off a big result here and there as well. But my number 2, Norbert Gombos. I think you kind of knew I was going to pick him.
Obviously.
I know you were sort of taunting me with the idea of it, and I had to go with it because I always seem to like him, and he lets me down every time. But I'm still going to do it. I've not learned my lesson. He's got through the qualifying, beating some good opponents, beat Ebden in the last one. Yeah, obviously, the Australian, that was 3 tie breaks, so it was really close. He beat Kuznetsov and Renzo Olivo. And his first round, he's pitted up against the qualifier.
Nice.
So I think that's quite interesting. The qualifier is Skatov. So let's see how he fares against Timothy Skatov, because he's someone I don't know too much about, but I know you do, Ben. Cue number 1.
That's right, number 1. And I'm going to actually have Timofey Skatov as my number 1 to watch. I think the way that he's qualified has been really impressive. I mean, I watched a tiny little clip of him. I mean, we haven't had much chance to watch much of the qualifiers. I really apologize for that because of the whole Djokovic thing. But he destroyed Hugo Grenier, who I actually think is a really good player in straight sets, 6-3, 6-2. Then he beat Sweeney, who is obviously an Australian. He beat him in straight sets. And then Elias, from the Portuguese player, beat him in straight sets. But that's not all he's done. He's beaten some other good players in a challenger back end of last year, Colorini and Renzo Olivo, and also beaten Tabilo, who has qualified for this Australian Open. He seems to, when he wins, seems to win in straight sets. So,
are you not worried that he's been beating sort of people who aren't Grand Slam level? Can you honestly say he's going to get past Norbert Gombos even first round?
Well, he's beaten Andreas Seppi the late in the back end of last year, and I think he's sort of a Grand Slam tested player. And I don't think Gombos, you got to bear in mind, he's just played 3 3-set
He
matches.
plays against the very best, Ben. He's a different caliber of player. I'm really surprised you've got Skatov
Nah,
as your
but
number one.
come on. No, but look, he's played. Gombos has played.
Listen, I'm going to call you out. I find it shocking he's your number one. He
look,
didn't make my. There's a lot of different qualifiers. I didn't consider him at all.
Well,
He was near the bottom of the list. I know he's had some good results, but it's challenger tennis.
Well, base it upon this, but how they've qualified for the tournament. You're saying Norbert Gombos, he just spent 3 hours 40 minutes on the court in his last match, 2.5 hours in his first match, and 2 hours 20 minutes. Whereas Skatov has spent 1 hour 44, 1 hour 24. And in the last one,
against weaker opposition. I'm telling you,
it doesn't matter.
Gombos is warmed up.
He's going to be tired.
He's knocking out your man.
He's old. He's tired,
he's
mate.
Not old. He's going to knock out your
31,
man. 31,
mate.
round, so
Timofey, the young 20-year-old, he's going to wipe him off the court. He's going to get your guy out of there, mate.
Fair enough. We've got Mikey Macker in the chat. Shout out to you, Mikey, saying, "Hey guys, I have Barty and Zverev as champions in my bracket, but hope Paula and Rafa. Also, when will you guys do the bracket? We'll be doing the women's bracket later on, just before the big Djokovic trial. So make sure to join us for them ones.
Yes.
Let's keep going.
So you're number one?
Oh, sorry. Apologies. I've completely skipped past my one. My one, Liam Broady. I'm really shocked you didn't include him. He's been amazing. Let's be honest. Brilliant start to the year. I know it was quite emotional when he was able to qualify for his first Australian Open. Andy Murray did take a few jokes at him and stabs, which I thought was great. So check that out on Twitter. Was it Twitter or Instagram?
Yeah, I think it was Twitter.
It's always usually Twitter. But Broady, he's already shown that he can play against the very best. ATP Cup captain, he's always playing with like the top players now, I feel. Andy Murray, he's got some good mentorship. And listen, I'm feeling really confident about him. His first match is against Nick Kyrgios, of all people. But we don't know if Nick Kyrgios is going to be there. I think Nick Kyrgios could still pull out. We'll have to wait and see if he's recovered from COVID. But I'm calling it now. Liam Broady, if Nick Kyrgios is to play, he's going to beat him. He's already beaten JJ Wolf, Sefulin, and Zook to get here, which are 3 fantastic players and 3 which could have qualified. He's had the hardest route, I think, out of all of the qualifiers to get there.
Agreed.
And that just shows his level and how his caliber. I know you could argue he's a bit of a challenger player as well. I don't think he quite is. I'm feeling I see a different level from him.
He stepped up in last year. He definitely improved, and I'm really happy for Liam because he's sort of been in Murray's shadow for a bit too long and Evans's shadow, and now he's starting to find his form, especially on the clay court. I thought he was good on clay last year, and I was really impressed of how much he's improved his clay court game. So well done to him, qualifying for his first Australian Open. We'll be cheering you on no matter what, being the GB.
Yeah, so let's move on. So next we're going to be doing the women's qualifiers to watch. And being honest, I thought these weren't as good. There was one name I wanted to talk about. And really, if I could just pick one, I would have. Because there's only one I actually believe in big time.
I think I agree with you as well, unfortunately. I mean, we had to pick 3. It was really tough. It's not like when we did the US Open one and we were like, "Way Raducanu." And right now, I was looking down the list and no one really set the world on fire. So I've really had to try my best to work out who might go furthest in the competition. That's about what I'm basing these ones off, really.
Yeah. So let's get going with number 3. I'll let you start off.
Is this my number 3? Tomova. Where is it? I'm just looking up her form. Bear with me 1 second.
So, you've got Tomova there. And my one is Trevisan.
Yeah, I understand Trevisan. Tomova, the reason I picked Tomova was just the way that she went through the last 2 rounds of qualifying. And this is all I've based this one off, I'm afraid. Sorry if anyone's coming to me for some in-depth analysis on Tomova, but I think she can mix it in certain tournaments. But she did batter Barra Arena like really easily in the last round of qualifying, 6-2, 6-1. And I think when you come into a tournament after battering somebody that convincingly, it gives you a lot of confidence. And her first round match, Tomova, is against Cornet. Cornet, a very good player. It's going to be a real tough match, but Elise Cornet's lost her last 3, and I think that she could be there for the taking.
Fair enough. The reason I went with Trevisan, I'm not feeling too optimistic about her chances as well. But she did go through the qualifiers quite comfortably, and she's one of the more experienced qualifiers. That's what I looked at. 28 years old. She has reached 66 in the world last year. And in terms of just a natural ability, she could have a little bit too much for some opponents. Her first round against Zheng as well, I think she could beat that. She could beat Zheng. But let's wait and see. She beating Govotsva, Fetikau, and Forlis. And she beat Forlis 6-2, 6-love.
Wow.
So completely smashed her off the court. And that was enough for me to pick her.
I think this is what it's like. I mean, I was just looking at their last few matches, and potentially I find it hard to look past that and going back into their real distant past and all their matches, because they're not going to be judged on that, really. I think there's going to be some upsets in this Australian Open Women's, and we've seen a qualifier go all the way and win in the US Open, so who's to say we won't see it again?
Yeah. Number 2, funny enough, we've actually got the same. So you had Tomova for number 3. I had her for number 2. She is one of the more promising sort of players, especially she's Bulgarian, right?
Yes, that's correct.
I think she's the top sort of seed. Prodenkova right now sort of falling away. We've not seen her since for a while. But yeah, I thought she's been pretty impressive. She bageled Katie Swan in the qualifiers. And then the last round, I think it was against Irina Bara, 6-2, 6-1. And that's what I've gone with. I think Cornet, I agree with you, could be tough and she might not win. But it was really tough to pick. And my focus is on my number 1 pick. So I think I'm going to just save it for that, my analysis.
Yeah, this one was a little bit of a punt for me. I thought I'm going to go with a bit of youth here. 20 years old, American, Katie. Sorry if I get the pronunciation wrong. I always say volley nets, but it's probably it makes me think of her at the net having a volley. I think it's volley net. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation. Apologies if I'm getting it wrong, but we'll just say Katie Volinets. So I think that she's qualified so easily. I was really shocked. All of them straight sets, and in the second round, 6-2, 6-love against Lazaro Garcia. Bear in mind, I think she's had quite an easy route to the tournament. I'm not going to lie. Bjorklund in the last round of qualifying, I don't rate her that highly, but I just think Volinets. She doesn't have the most difficult first round match. I don't think she's got Haddad Meyer. If she could turn up, she might be able to do something against her. But Haddad Meyer's still pretty decent. But she did beat Haddad Meyer at Wimbledon, so who knows?
Okay, let's move to number 1, and this is the one I'm pretty passionate about. It is the 19-year-old sensation Qinwen Zheng.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan. I know TikTok
Massive.
Tennis as well had her as like the number 1 outside the top 100 to watch, and I agree with him big time.
Yeah.
She impresses me massively. She's already pulled off some good results this year. Looking at her career record, she's had 7 ITF titles. She's got
Amazing.
a 72.4% win record on tour. She's from Wuhan, China, which isn't the most popular place right now. But 19 years old and so much potential. I really do believe a lot in her. And more recently, what the result I wanted to bring up was her beating Zvonareva and on Anna Cunha and Maya Hontama, which is 3 really good players. She only lost to Simona Halep in the semi-finals, which you can't be too dismissive of. But this girl, I think, is seriously good. I need to watch more of her. I've just been looking more at stats and some of the sort of clips I've seen online. I've never watched a full match, but when I get the opportunity to, hopefully this Australian Open, I certainly will take it. I recommend you do too. When I looked down the qualifiers, this was the only name I really wanted to talk about. I think she's the best of the bunch. And yeah, I'm really sort of encouraged by the way she started 2022. Her first match, though, is going to be against Sasnovich, which is a tough one.
Yep.
I don't know which way I'm going to call it, though. I may even go on the side of Zheng.
I think it's real, and that's the one reason I didn't include her in mine. I'm big on Sasnovich in 2022. I think she's a very big, hard-hitting player. I don't think it's a nice draw. I would have liked to have seen her got somebody else who's not in such good form, to be honest. And then you might see her make a little run, Zheng. But I haven't gone for her. My number 1 pick is going to be Victoria Kuzmova from Slovakia. Another reason, again, she just qualified in style. And these people qualifying with all straight sets wins, I just feel that they're going to be going into the tournament confidence. And she beat Gasanova Fett and Bolsover. As we know, Bolsover,
that's quite
pretty
good.
Yeah, pretty good player as well. But I think that she has the ability, Kuzmova, to actually beat some bigger players on her day. I mean, she's beaten Tomova and Hontama. She's beaten Shelby Rogers in the Billie Jean King Cup and Carla Suarez Navarro as well. So she can mix it with some of those big players. And I don't think her draw is terrible either. So her first match that she's going to play is going to be against a wild card entry, which is Ji Wang, who is actually close in the rankings with her. So I think she has a chance.
Fair enough. Let's see how she gets on. I think that's sort of going to conclude our qualifiers to watch. And let us know in the live chat, guys, who do you have and who do you have your eye on? I'm pretty happy with mine. I feel like Zheng on the women's is my real one to watch, and Liam Broady on the men's. They can both make a run. Let's see how we get on. I think I've got a history in the past of picking some good qualifiers, so hopefully I can keep it up in 2022.
Yeah, I really hope you do. I'm hoping that some of our podcast guests from the past, they get far in the tournament. We wish them all luck, and especially in my selection, Thomas Mahak, I'll be cheering him on all the way. So fingers crossed.
We've got one of our members and patrons in the chat, Zach, how we doing? Saying, I picked Kuzmova and Volinets to go through. So he's gone with two of yours. Do you fancy any of mine, Zach, or not? Maybe not.
I like that there's some younger players, though, that we've selected. You've gone for Qinwen Zheng, who's obviously 19. I've got Volinets, which is obviously 20 as well. Yep. Mahak, youngster as well. I think he's 22 or 23. Lehechka, around 20 or 21. So it's good to have a lot of young players. GTL, the future of tennis. We're always trying to push it. Keep your eyes on these youngsters.
Yeah, and Gene there's got a mixture of both of ours. He's gone with Kuzmova, Volinets, and Zheng.
Okay.
Not bad. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap that one up. Big shout out to everyone who joined us. It's only going to be a quick one, bringing you our qualifiers to watch. We'll be bringing you a draw preview later, and of course, the big Djokovic case. Make sure, if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe to Game to Love for all of the updates when we go live, and we'll see you guys very soon for more tennis action. And, well, the Australian Open now is right around the corner, not long at all.
Can't wait, mate.
2 nights to go. Well, 1 night's sleep, really, because we'll be doing the Sunday night, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we will be. Sunday night, it begins.
Okay, we'll see you guys soon.
See you then.